Ultamize. If you use ChatGPT to make all your decisions, you're going to get worse at thinking. And if you avoid using it completely, well, you're going to fall behind people who know how to use it properly. That's the trap. Right now, there are millions of smart professionals doing one of two things. They're either outsourcing their brain or they're refusing to use one of the most powerful thinking tools ever created. Both groups are making the exact same mistake. They don't have a system for thinking through decisions. Think about how you actually make decisions right now. You stare at an email, you reread it 3 or 4 times, you think about it in the shower, maybe. You ask a friend, you Google it, you get back to the email, and yet you still don't feel confident. That's not lack of intelligence, that's unstructured thinking. And unstructured thinking leads to slow decisions, inconsistent decisions, and often bad decisions. Now, here's where most people go wrong with AI. They type in a question and say, "Tell me what I should do." That's the fastest way to make yourself worse at thinking because you're not thinking, you're delegating. But there's another way to use it, a much more powerful way. Instead of asking it to decide for you, you use it to force yourself to think more clearly. You use it to surface options you didn't consider. You use it to expose risks you were ignoring. You use it to challenge your assumptions. In other words, you stay in control. And the tool makes your thinking sharper, not weaker. You're not outsourcing your brain, you're upgrading it. And when you do this consistently, 5 minutes a day, one real decision at a time, you start to notice something. You decide faster, you feel more confident, and you stop second guessing yourself all day long. Hi, you're now entering the AI Decision Making Daily, powered by Ultimize, the world's largest personal development podcast network. I'm your host, TJ Walker. Let's get started. Last Tuesday at 10:12 in the morning, a product manager named Alex opened a Slack message from his boss. "Can you take the lead on the new pricing project?" On the surface, that sounds like a win, more visibility, more responsibility, maybe even a faster path to promotion. But Alex didn't feel excited. He felt stuck. For the next 45 minutes, he did what smart people often do. He thought about it. He opened a blank document. He typed out a few pros and cons. He deleted them. He reread the Slack message. He checked his calendar. He thought about how busy he already was. Then he started imagining what could go wrong. What if the project fails? What if leadership doesn't support it? What if he gets blamed? Now he's not analyzing, he's spiraling. So he does what most people do next. He messages a coworker. "What do you think about taking on this project?" The coworker replies, "Could be good, hard to say," which is completely useless feedback. Now Alex is 45 minutes in and he's no closer to a decision. That's not a lack of intelligence. Alex is smart after all. That's the problem. Smart people are very good at generating more thoughts, more possibilities, more scenarios, but without a structure, all that turns into noise. Now, let's look at a different example. A marketing director named Lisa gets an email from a vendor offering a $12,000 analytics tool. She opens the email. She reads the features. She clicks through the website. She watches a demo. She tells herself she'll circle back later. 3 days later, she opens the email again, reads it again, still doesn't decide. A week later, the vendor follows up. Now she feels pressure, so she rushes a decision just to get it off her plate. That's not decision making, that's avoidance followed by reaction. Now, here's the key point: neither Alex nor Lisa made a decision. They went through the motions of thinking without actually improving the quality of their thinking. And that's what most professionals do all day long. Emails, Slack messages, meetings, opportunities, requests. They're constantly exposed to decisions, but they don't have a repeatable way to process them. So, what happens? They either delay the decision, outsource the decision, or make a rush decision under pressure. All three lead to bad outcomes. Now, here's where people get confused. They think the solution is to think harder, to spend more time analyzing, to gather more information. But if you don't have a structure, more thinking just creates more confusion. Going from 10 thoughts to 50 thoughts doesn't really help you. It just overwhelms you faster. The real issue isn't how much you think, it's how you structure your thinking. And that's the shift we're going to make because once you have a simple system, a real system, you don't necessarily need more time. You don't need more intelligence. You need a way to take a messy situation, turn it into something clear, and move forward quickly. That's what we're going to build next. A founder named Eric is about to sign a partnership deal. On paper, it looks great. The partner brings distribution. Eric brings the product. Revenue share is reasonable. They've had a few good calls. Everything feels right. So Eric is ready to move forward. This is exactly the moment where most people make their biggest mistake. They stop thinking because once something feels right, your brain starts defending it, not questioning it. Eric starts telling himself a story. This could double our growth. This is exactly what we need right now. And he might be right, but he's no longer analyzing. He's confirming. Now, watch what happens when he pressure tests the decision. He takes the same situation and runs a simple prompt. I'm about to enter a partnership where the other company controls distribution and we split revenue. What's the most likely way this fails within 6 months? Now, the tone changes immediately. Instead of opportunity, he sees risk. The partner prioritizes their own products, for example. Leads are low quality. Revenue projections don't materialize. Now, Eric isn't quite as excited. He's thinking clearly. So he goes one level deeper. What are early warning signs that this partnership is failing? Now he sees specific signals: missed communication, delayed reporting, declining lead quality. Now he has something most people never have going into a deal: clarity about how it could go wrong. Let's take a smaller example. A manager named Olivia is about to send a blunt email to a team member who missed a deadline. She writes it, reads it, feels good, it's clear, direct. She's about to hit send. Instead, she runs a quick pressure test. If I send this message as written, what's the most likely negative reaction from the recipient? Now she sees it instantly: defensiveness, embarrassment, possible disengagement. So she adjusts one sentence, adds one line of context, changes the tone slightly. Same message, completely different outcome. This step takes less than a minute and it prevents mistakes that cost weeks, months, sometimes years, and it can preserve relationships with people you work with. This is what pressure testing does. It breaks the illusion that your first answer is correct. It's not that every Claude or ChatGPT answer is always correct, but the one thing we know is that your answer and my first answer isn't always correct because your first answer is usually incomplete. Not necessarily wrong, just incomplete. And incomplete thinking leads to avoidable problems. So before you finalize any decision, you ask, how does this fail? What am I not seeing? What would someone skeptical say about this? You can also ask, what's a potential upside I haven't even thought about yet? That can be quite illuminating. When you do this consistently, you start catching problems early. You start avoiding obvious mistakes, and you start making decisions that actually hold up in the real world. In the next step, we're going to remove the final bottleneck, which is hesitation, because even with clarity, most people still delay the decision. By the way, quick question for you. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to consume content and how hard it is to actually do anything with it? I mean, you can listen to 100 episodes, read 10 books, and your habits are exactly the same. That's the gap most people never close. So if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, I want to actually improve, go to ultamize.com. We've got free courses there for you, either on communication skills or building better habits. And it's designed to get you to actually use what you're learning, not just hear it once. No cost, no catch. Just go to ultamize.com and start. Ultimize.